If there's one thing that pretty much everyone knows about Christopher Walken, it's that he talks funny. Is it an accent or something else? Whatever it is, it's become fodder for countless impressions, from your goofy uncle to seemingly every cast member of Saturday Night Live.
You're driving? Driving? No, I'm walking!
But while you might think that his cadence is a put-on, Walken has repeatedly made it clear that it's the real deal. Furthermore, it's connected to the working-class immigrant environment that he grew up in. As he told CBS News in 2012, "Both my parents had heavy accents, and so did everybody they knew. It's a rhythm thing. People who speak English where they have to hesitate and think of the right word. And I think it rubbed off." Walken's mother, Rosalie, immigrated to New York from Glasgow, Scotland in the 1930s, while his father, Paul, came from Germany and set up shop in the Queens neighborhood of Astoria as a baker. Like many of the Walkens' neighbors, Paul would have learned English as a second language and spoken it with a distinct accent. Perhaps you've seen Walken cutting loose in the music video for Fatboy Slim's Weapon of Choice, and that's hardly the only time he's shown off his fancy footwork. In fact, it might be more accurate to call him a dancer who stumbled into acting rather than an actor who occasionally dances. He even studied with Tony-winning choreographer Danny Daniels and danced alongside the likes of Liza Minnelli.
Could you see it then that she had it?
Oh, absolutely.
Furthermore, Walken's stage name of Christopher was given to him by a Belgian cabaret singer that he used to perform with. Nowadays, he doesn't dance nearly as often as he used to, telling IndieWire in 2015, "You slow down and you can't bend and stuff like that. But it's interesting. You don't really forget that. It stays in your bones." But he hasn't put away his dancing shoes completely. His more recent fleet-footed parts include Wilbur Turnblad in the 2007 version of Hairspray and Captain Hook in 2014's Peter Pan Live. Walken doesn't exactly get along well with horses, which has occasionally caused some workplace problems, particularly when he played the Headless Horseman in 1999's Sleepy Hollow. Considering that the film was set at the dawn of the 19th century, horses were pretty much everywhere. Walken reportedly agreed to sit on one, but he couldn't quite bring himself to move around on them. In some of Walken's films with horses, body doubles have had to get in the saddle to complete a shot. Other sets have used clever engineering to get around his fear. The horseback scenes in Sleepy Hollow were filmed with the aid of a mechanical horse, reportedly the very same one that Elizabeth Taylor used back for 1944's National Velvet. A similar solution was deployed for the 1985 James Bond film A View to a Kill. Walken's wariness is understandable if you've ever stood near a horse and realized how large and unpredictable they can be. Nevertheless, the actor has acknowledged that the problem is with him. As he told The Guardian in 2016, "I have a lack of control. The times I've had to be on a horse, I've always been told, you've got to take control of the horse. The horse can feel your authority. Forget about it. The horse had no respect for me. They always run away with me." It might sound incredibly odd to think of Christopher Walken as a chubby-cheeked child star, but even the most adult of adults were kids at one time. When he was 10 years old and still going by his given first name, little Ronnie Walken would go to auditions alongside his older brother Ken and younger brother Glenn. The siblings ended up becoming so busy that they attended the Professional Children's School, a Manhattan institution geared towards working and aspiring child actors. As Walken explained to the New York Times in 1992, in the 1950s, many live shows were shot conveniently close to the Walken family home in Queens, which led to a flood of local kids popping up in the burgeoning industry. As Walken put it, "In the Queens where I grew up, you didn't go bowling on Saturday, you went to dancing school." Walken has often described his subsequent acting career as something like a workaday job, although he has also admitted that acting from such a young age was perhaps a bit odd.
Got this lion. He's the king of the jungle. Huge mane out there.
As much as young Ronnie Walken seemed set on a life in showbiz, he wasn't only interested in acting and dancing. In fact, his early showbiz days also occasionally included an actual living, breathing lion. Well, kind of. That might sound rather perilous, but to hear Walken tell it, he was never really in danger. It happened during the summer when he was 16, and he essentially worked as a lion tamer apprentice. As he explained to IndieWire in 2015, it was fake in the sense that the real lion tamer who owned the small circus, the gag was that he had a son, which he didn't. But I had an identical outfit, and he would do this big act with a dozen big cats. Then young Walken would arrive for the big finish. As he continued, "I would come in with my whip and I'd go like that and the lion would sit up. But she was really more like a dog. It wasn't really lion taming, she was very sweet." Still, there's no denying that a teenage Walken truly did go into the ring with a real live lion who thankfully never turned on her co-star. This next sentence might sound a little strange, but here goes. The precise nature of Christopher Walken's relationship with the moon is a little murky. He said some things in the past about Earth's main satellite that have us a little concerned. In 1973, for example, he told After Dark magazine that he spent quite a few years as a lunar worshipper, although he also insisted that his passion had waned a little bit. As he put it, "I spent several years with that, and then it passed. I remained very close to the moon, but I don't make myself miserable about her anymore." But then in 2022, he was singing a different tune, as he playfully told The Times, "No, I didn't worship the moon. Let's put that to rest." Whether or not Walken really did have some sort of religious affiliation with the moon remains a bit of a mystery. Maybe it was just a weird joke after all. But he still enjoys gazing up at the heavens occasionally, as he also admitted, "I do enjoy looking at the moon. The moon is pretty terrific, but not for worshiping."
Look, Maggie, Christopher Walken's reading Goodnight Moon.
Good night, room. Good night, moon.
Christopher Walken is what you might call a bit of a homebody. That's not to say that he never leaves his house. After all, he does have to step outside every once in a while if he wants to maintain his acting career. But unlike a lot of other professional entertainers, he doesn't appear to draw much energy from the fast-paced world of fame. That could have something to do with Walken's wariness around horses, cars, and airplanes. Plus, he's admitted that he doesn't really like visiting other countries where drivers speed by on the left side of the road, to the point that he's urged his wife to just hang out in the hotel when they visit London. And he sometimes declines to attend premieres that are happening in foreign countries. But this lifestyle may be driven less by fear and more of an appreciation for calmness. As Walken told the St. Louis Post-Dispatch in 2012, he enjoys his quiet life in rural Connecticut. As he put it, "I can sometimes go for weeks without seeing anybody."
When you say it like that, my life sounds pretty damn good.
Simply put, staying home is much preferable than the alternative for Walken. As he added, "When I come to big events like a screening, it's like going to another planet." Being a working actor can be hard, especially when it comes to earning enough income to eat and pay your rent. But it seems safe to say that Walken is no longer living on the edge like that. For better or worse, he's a recognizable star with a reported net worth in the tens of millions who can comfortably live in the Connecticut countryside. So, how to explain his habit of stealing clothes? To be clear, it's not as if Walken is shoplifting at his local Target. Instead, it's more like he's taking advantage of secret job perks. As he admitted to The Independent in 2010, "I never buy clothes. Whenever I do a movie, all my clothing is from that movie set. They don't give me anything. I steal." Apparently, though, some crew members have caught on to Walken's sneaky habit. For example, as filming wrapped up on 1992's Batman Returns, he had already selected a few items that he wore while playing the stylish villain Max Schreck. But as he returned to his dressing room, he discovered that the costume department had hustled through and safely recovered the cufflinks, ties, and other pieces he had earmarked for himself. As he recalled, "Everything was gone. They saw me coming." For most of us living in 2025, it's pretty much impossible to avoid modern technology. How else are you supposed to get work done, stay connected with family and friends, and entertain yourself? But Christopher Walken is one of the rare breeds who does things a little differently. Walken isn't a total Luddite, as it's not like he's going around destroying factories, but he has gone to considerable lengths to sidestep technology. As he tells it, he was simply old enough that he was able to allow such things to pass him by. Meaning, for example, that he's never owned a cell phone. It's hard to imagine someone never texting or sending an email, but Walken insists that that's the truth. He's occasionally been given a cell phone while on set, but he's claimed that it's more like a tracking device used to locate him, and that he doesn't even really know how to call someone on it. So it appears that the key to Walken avoiding technology is relying on other people who can use their phones for him.
My wife has a computer and she knows about these things, and that pretty much takes care of it.
Walken has a unique connection with Elvis Presley, and it all started with a rejection. As the actor recounted to the New York Times in 2022, when he was a teenager, he asked a girl named Janice out to a dance, but she responded that her boyfriend probably wouldn't be too happy about that. Then she showed him a picture of a handsome guy who looked rather familiar, as Walken recalled telling her, "Wait a second, that's not a photograph. You cut that out of a magazine. I'm asking you to the dance. What is this? You're giving me this jazz?" Then Janice came clean and replied, "It's true. He's the singer. His name is Elvis, and I'm crazy about him." Walken and Janis ended up going to the dance, but Walken ended up having a more lasting connection with the rock star. As he admitted, "Elvis was fabulous. I wish I'd known Elvis. I bet he was nice."
I remember watching Elvis that night that he caused the big scandal, when they shot him only from the waist up.
Walken even went on to play Elvis in an off-Broadway play in 1994 called Him. The show was set in a sort of limbo, and one of the other characters was Presley's twin brother, who was stillborn in real life. Unfortunately, critics panned the play, with a New York Times review calling it woozily conceived. Still, even if the reviews stung, Walken's fascination with and sympathy for Elvis has remained strong. As he noted to the Times, "I think Elvis needed a good wife. Somebody to say, 'Elvis, enough.' He was special. He was different. Poor old Elvis."